Hey friends, I want to talk about a friendship skill of making double opt-in intros. So I've made a number of introductions recently, introducing different friends to each other, different collaborators, etc. Hey, maybe you should have a conversation. Maybe you'd like to get to know each other. And this is a real service that we can provide our friends and collaborators and allies, the people that we're connected to. We can introduce them to each other. And all of us have benefited from being introduced to someone, to a friend or a mentor or a partner or a collaborator or whatever it is. And we can pass that on and help our friends in this way. And this is something that benefits all of us, not just the two people that are meeting, but really weaves the network so that people are more densely connected. And there's best practices for doing this. So the way that you don't want to do is just be like, oh, like my friend Jimmy should meet my friend Anne or something. And then you just send them both a message and be like, hey, Jimmy, Anne, you should meet. That's okay, but odds are that's not going to go well because it's a surprise to Jimmy and Anne that you think that they should meet. They don't really know anything about each other. You haven't talked to them. You haven't seen where they're at. Maybe Jimmy is really busy. Maybe Anne is trying not to meet new people. Maybe, I don't know, maybe for all you know, they've already met. And maybe they don't like each other for all you know. I mean, anything could happen, right? Another version of this would be you're talking to your friend Jimmy and you're like, oh, it'd be so great for you to meet Anne. I'm going to introduce you. And then you send an email or send them a message and you're like, all right, Jimmy and Anne, hope you get together. That also might not go well because Anne might be really busy, or Anne may not want to meet Jimmy, or Anne might not have space for that for whatever reason. So the thing to do instead is what's called a double opt-in intro, where you say, hey, Jimmy, I think it'd be really great for you to meet Anne. Here's why. Here's who Anne is. Here's why I think you should talk. Would you be interested in meeting her? And Jimmy says, yeah, it'd be great. I'd love to meet Anne. And then you're like, great, let me go check in with Anne and see how she feels. And then you go talk to Anne and you're like, hey, Anne, I was talking to Jimmy and I think it'd be great if you two met. Here's why you should meet Jimmy. I'd love to set you all up for, a Zoom or a coffee date or a phone call or whatever it is, so you can get to know each other. And then Anne has a chance to say yes or no, just like Jimmy did. And then, if and only if they've both said yes, then you make the introduction. That they've both given consent. They've been like, yes, I would like to meet the other person. And ideally, in this process, you take the time to think whether this is going to be win-win for both of them, because there can be introductions where it's really just benefiting one person. And that's okay, but it's not ideal. In an ideal introduction, they're both really going to enjoy each other's company. They're both going to learn and grow from speaking. They're going to benefit from being connected. That's really obvious to both of you. And if you ask them both individually about the other person, that gives you a chance to kind of frame it so that you're like, oh, I think you would really enjoy and benefit from talking to this person. Here's why. And then you get to see where they're at, whether that resonates for them, whether they want to meet the person, whether they even have the time and space, because sometimes people don't have the time and space. I know that often I don't have the time or space to meet people. In general, I think I would enjoy talking to almost anyone, and I have limited time and energy just like anyone else. So anyway, the idea behind a double opt-in intro is you make sure both people are actually genuinely interested in meeting each other before you ever introduce them to each other in practice. And if one of them says no, it's like, great, then you just don't introduce them to each other. And that's saving everyone time, because if one person says no, then that means they weren't going to benefit from being connected anyway. It was going to be not go well, etc. And it's also polite. It's polite because it's showing that you respect the person's time, that you're considerate of them. Just introducing someone without context is not very polite. It's not very respectful. You can do that in some cases. Like there's a small number of people that I'm close enough to where, like, if I send them an introduction, I can just assume that they will want to meet the person I want to, that they trust me enough, that my judgment and creation. But in general, it's just better to check in ahead of time, say, hey, I'd like to introduce you to this person. Here's why. Here's why I think you would enjoy it. Here's why I think you would benefit from it. How do you feel about it? Do you have the time and space for this? And if and only if they have both said yes, then you make the introduction. That's a double opt-in intro. That's going to go much better for both of those people and also preserve your relationship with the people that you're introducing, such that they feel respected, cared for, connected, and it makes it likely that they're going to have a good time. So that's a double opt-in intro. Maybe you already knew this, but some people do not. I occasionally get them where I get a single opt-in intro or a 0 opt-in intro, and yeah, it's frustrating. It's not ideal. And so you can prevent that by doing a double opt-in intro, and works well for me. Hope it works well for you too.